Hi Cancer, welcome to Maddie Tarot. I'm Maddie, and today we're going to be doing a general reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements for October 11th through the 20th, okay? So this is a general reading, so it may not resonate for everybody from front to back, so keep that in mind. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And you may need to swap roles because I am just reading energies, so I could be talking about you, your person, another individual, or party, and I'm just deciphering the messages as best as I can based on the cards and what I'm getting intuitively. So you may need to swap roles to make it fit. Don't stretch it or overextend yourself to make it fit. If it's not your story, it's not your story. And be sure to check your other placements because your messages could be there, okay? I've already pre-shuffled the decks, cleansed the area, cleansed the decks, and meditated on the collective conscious of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. Okay, so what does Cancer need to know? What does Cancer need to know? What does Cancer need to know? Let's see. Show me for Cancer. Okay, so one card for you, Cancer. Let's see. Cancer, you got the Seven of Materials, energy directly affecting you. The Ace of Emotions, the person on your mind. A card for the person on your mind. The Lovers, and energy directly affecting them. The Ace of Voices, 3 cards for past energies that have led up to this point. Five of Emotions. The 10 of Materials. And the Page of Emotions. Your intuition. Muse of Emotions. Your challenge. You got 3, the Queen of Inspiration, 4 of Inspiration, and 9 of Voices. And your advice. The 4 of Materials. Person on Cancer's mind, what are they thinking? 3 of Voices, what are they feeling? Person on Cancer's mind, what are they feeling? How are they feeling? The Moon. And what is their next move? Person on Cancer's mind, what's their next move? The 10 of Inspiration. Bias for Cancer. Knight of Emotions. And caution for Cancer. Caution. The 2 of Materials. And focus for Cancer. The Devil, 2 guidance messages for Cancer. One more. The Queen of Materials. And Strength, what you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck, Justice. Okay, we're going to pull 2 crystal cards for you. Cooperite. Okay, and one more. Malachite. All right. So let's see what that says. All right, so Cooperite, high in copper content. This stone's vibrations helps restore your vitality and raise your energy levels. This is due to the jolt it gives your base chakra, root chakra. It's a great stone to energize female relationships, mothers, sisters, daughters, and female partners. Okay, so it's very feminine stone. And Malachite is a stone of adventure and symbolizes big transformations. If this stone appeals to you, it is because of the energy radiating from it calls to you to take a risk and make a drastic change in your life. This stone gives you the courage and strength to do that. So the message I'm getting here is that for those of you who are female or identify as female, there's a big, and of course if your partner is female, just know this about them, but there is a big transformation you're going through at this time, and you are kind of I'm getting starting over, restorative energy. I'm getting leveling up. I'm getting kind of taking back your power. And I'm getting the story of really stepping into your knowing and following your truth. And you know, you're having a lot of revelations right now and epiphanies about you and how you are holding yourself and your how do you say, like your self-worth and your confidence and the way you hold yourself and present yourself. So this is like a lot, you're transforming, you're going through a big transformative period in your life. So Cooperite and Malachite could really help you at this time. All right, let's get into the reading. So Cancer. So your energy, 7 of materials, Ace of emotions, that's the 7 of pentacles and the Ace of cups. So what I'm getting here is that you are, none of these cards directly mean this, but I'm getting, this is the message I'm getting. You're kind of fed up with the amount of energy you have exerted on love. It's left you largely drained, feeling very unfulfilled. Those of you who are in a connection, you feel like it's a lot of work. You guys enjoy being in a connection, and you enjoy having partners to connect with, or dating, or for any type of connection you're building. You guys enjoy this, but you do have this sense of feeling like it's so much work because you're very you feel deeply. That was not supposed to happen. I apologize. You feel deeply. So it's a lot of work for you. Your person, on the other hand, or the person on your mind, they are coming to a truth, or they're having trouble possibly accepting a truth regarding their love. So Cancer, I'm getting here that you are often attracted to people who are dismissive or avoidant or non-committal. You tend to get into these situations with people that they can't seem to see your worth, or they don't invest as much as you do in the relationship. And you may fight for this at times by giving more, or you may retreat and beat yourself up for having expectations. Okay, so don't do either of those things. I'm gonna help you out and let you know what you need to do. So first of all, though, before we get into that, clarify the 7 of materials, 7 of pentacles, clarified by the moon, and clarify the Ace of emotions, 9 of wands. Exactly what I was just saying. Clarify the lovers for Cancer, the person on Cancer's mind, or the past connections on Cancer's mind, the 10 of pentacles, and clarify the Ace of voices, the Ace of swords, for their person, 10 of wands. Okay, so you've got the Seven of Pentacles here, clarified by the Moon. So you put a lot of effort into your love connections, into building something with somebody, and when somebody is distant or acting dismissive, or it gets you in your insecurities, it makes you want to please. It makes you want to fix the situation. You are quicker to think about, what did I do wrong? Why don't they, why don't they like me? Than you are to think about yourself and think like, well, do I even like them? Do I even like how they're treating me? Do I even, so that is, you really got to shift that focus there. There's illusions here. The Moon talks about illusions. So maybe it's an illusion that you're projecting about an insecurity, making you think you have to do all this work for love. You do not have to fight for love. You don't, what is meant for you will come to you. And also, just be yourself. You don't need to overexert yourself. Somebody who loves you, somebody you're meant to be with, or who is worthwhile being with, you won't have to do that for. Um, it'll be more of a, how do I say? It'll be more, excuse me. It'll be more of a natural thing instead of something that was triggered by an insecurity, feeling like you need to fix the situation or please them in some way. So that's never a good sign when you're starting to do things like that. And that is because you work, the Nine of Wands here is clarifying the Ace of Cups. Love and intimacy for you is something you persevere through, even though you've been hurt in pain, and something this is the wounded warrior. So it's you persevere and keep on going, and you put on that face, and you continue to love. And there's periods of times where you close your heart off, but I see here that you do have that as an underlying goal. You would really like to find a partner. For those of you that are in a connection, it is it is critical that you focus on, if you're with the right person, are you doing things out of an insecure state, where are they loving you and giving back to you? It's, for some of you, I do get the message they are, but there's still something here in regard to you people pleasing somehow, or maybe the roles are flipped here, but um, the work you're putting in for a connection should never come from a negative space. You should want to make things, you should want to resolve problems, but not because you feel inadequate. Does that make sense? Okay. For your person on your mind, or your partner, this love connection that they have, their ideas surrounding love, this is something I was talking about aloof partners, or people who are distant and maybe dismissive. This is due to their foundation and the roots of, the way they were raised, and they may have an outlook on love that is negative, or maybe their caregivers were dismissive of their feelings. They didn't really learn the ropes of communication. They didn't really have a model of what a healthy love was. So this is stemming back to that. They do, however, most of the time when someone is dismissive and avoidant of our feelings, but they're still involved with us, it's one of two things. They're either just completely a user, or somebody who wants to take advantage of you. And most of the time, you might mistake people for that, but that's actually the less likely. It's more likely that if they're involved with us and they're dismissive and avoidant, that they like us a lot. And that's the reason they're dismissive and avoidant, is because when somebody who is has an attachment style of like dismissive avoidant, or fearful avoidant, they pull away of intimacy. They shy away from intimacy, and that's why they'll still be involved with you, but they may act. They may not respond to text messages very quickly. They may be really bad at responding, giving you reassurance. They may go disappearing for a few days. They may start to it's unfortunate, but they may even start to lose attraction or lose interest over time, because of the dynamic of you being like, well, what's up? What's going on? And then they're like, oh gosh, this person's like violating my boundaries. They're too needy or whatever. That it's unfortunate. And if they're not aware of these things, of what they're doing, then it will never work. But someone who is aware can help move through those tough times with you. But they do it because they feel so deeply about you, believe it or not. That's the more likely. If someone's involved with you, but acting dismissive and avoidant, it's more likely that they like you a lot than it is that they are like a narcissist, or if they are like abusive. You know, a dismissive avoidant people can be emotionally abusive, but they're not consciously aware that they're doing it. It's a different reason. Narcissism is they are aware, and they are wanting to use you and take advantage of you. So there's a large difference there, and people mistake them all the time. So, you know, you always hear somebody's like, my ex was a narcissist. No, honey, they probably were dismissive avoidant. Narcissism is it's rare. It's very unlikely that they had NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. It's way more likely that they were dismissive avoidant attached had a dismissive avoidant attachment style. Okay, so sorry, but the energy surrounding this person, Ace of Voices, this is clarity and breakthrough. So it's again what I was saying. When they hit the wall of truth about how they feel about you, Ten of Wands, it starts to feel like a burden. It starts to feel stressful. That's the attachment they have with love and intimacy. So when they start to get that with someone, they go, oh gosh, this is too much work. This is scary. I can't do this. And it's a burden, and oh, my boundaries are being violated, and it's too much. So Ten of Wands, they get burnt out. Okay, 3 energies leading up to this point. 5 of Emotions, 10 of Materials, and Page of Emotions. Clarify the 5 of Emotions for me. Clarified by the Magician. Clarify the 10 of Materials, the 10 of Cups. Clarify the Page of Emotions, the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so the the 5 of Emotions clarified by the Magician, the 5 of Cups clarified by the Magician. So there, in your past, there's been a lot of things you've had to grieve and loss in regard to your heart space and your emotions and love. And the Magician here is what it's saying is that you largely are the creator of these things. And I know that sounds harsh to hear, but hear me out here. What it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you think you're not good enough, and your subconscious mind, you know, what types of things, what's your inner critic saying to you when you're in despair or pain? Are you saying things like, oh, no one ever wants me, or everyone always leaves, or I'm never good enough for anybody, or I just can't get it right, or something's wrong with me. You know, what are those what's their harsh inner critic saying to you? Those things become self-fulfilling prophecies if you do not tackle them and take care of them. So here is showing that a lot of these losses, it's not that you were the only one involved in the failure of something, but you created a self-fulfilling prophecy in a lot of these situations, just as the other person did. So the other person's type of self-fulfilling prophecies, when they're dismissive or avoidant, they tend to say things like, I just disappoint everybody, I'm no good at relationships, I just you know, everybody, I'm better off alone, you know, nobody's really there for you, and in the end it's only you there for yourself. So you see how somebody who believes they're not good enough and that everyone always leaves them, and then someone who believes that they're really bad at relationships and you're better off alone in the end. If they believe that and you believe that, and you come together, you see how that plays out. And then you see how when it ends, both people just they believe what they believed in the beginning even harder, because everybody leaves, right? And then I'm just better off alone, right? So these things become self-fulfilling prophecies, and they are communicated in ways that are so subtle. And that's what I'm pretty much getting here, is you've got to really take a look at those things inside yourself, Cancer, and tackle your insecurities, because they are becoming self-fulfilling prophecies and what's leading you to these outcomes. Okay. Other Here we got the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Materials, clarified by the 10 of Cups. So these are both long-term commitment and intimacy cards. I have a feeling, I'm getting a message here. No, I'm sorry. Well, this is domestic partnership, long-term commitment. This is stability and material wealth, but it also can talk about like a commitment for a lifetime. So really, I see these both as, finding your life partner type cards and building something substantial with them and emotionally fulfilling. But Cancer, what I'm getting here is that you tend to see this in everybody. And it's not a bad thing, but I mean, that is a bad thing actually. So you got to really, really look at, are you consciously picking these people, or are you just so thrilled when someone does give you that attention that you start to build a fantasy in your head? And again, self-fulfilling prophecies, these things can backfire on you. Okay, so Page of Emotions here and Seven of Pentacles. The Page of Emotions is somebody it's a small offer. It's promising, but it's small. And so I'm getting here in Seven of Pentacles is work. So, or putting in effort and tending to the garden. I'm getting here that you kind of take any small offer and you start to just like work toward something huge. You don't really let it play out or flow. So Cancer, that's a lot of this is just over eagerness, and it's not that it's a bad thing, but you got to really look where that's coming from and see that it's coming from a place of insecurity, and build those parts of yourself up. What are you seeing in this other person? Those are the things you're seeing in this other person that you really like and that really stand out to you, that you are wanting. Those are the things that are disempowered in yourself and that you can need to build up within yourself. Once you build those things up within yourself, you won't need to latch onto somebody so quickly, and is that will help you get what you're looking for, the long-term commitment. Okay, so your intuition is telling you, the Muse of Emotions, that's the King of Cups. Your intuition is telling you balance your head and heart energy. The King of Cups is devotion and is emotionally stable, able to balance their emotions and regulate them. They don't let their emotions control them. Okay, so all this energy up here is letting emotions and feelings manifest and control your life in ways that you may not even realize. So again, getting a hold of those things, and clarify the King of Cups here, the Empress. And then your challenge is the Nine of Voices, Four of Inspiration, and Queen of Inspiration. Your challenge is your self-confidence and reconciling with your past and reconciling with your traumas and the hardships that you've faced and the hurts that you've faced in love. This is clarified by the King of Wands. And then your advice, Four of Materials, Four of Pentacles. This is really focusing. You need to focus on self and kind of really hone in on your attributes and what you can bring, what you do bring to the table, all the good qualities in you. The Four of Materials talks about hoarding something, so it's like you really need to hang on to yourself. I feel like you lose yourself in relationships a lot. Or connections, okay? And this is clarified by the Knight of Swords. So the King of Cups with the Empress. This is the nurturing and care that you give to people. You need to give that to yourself. So your intuition is telling you to regulate emotions so you're not so nurturing and caring for people and then sublimating your own needs and putting yourself aside. That's what your intuition is telling you here. Your challenge is pretty much building up your confidence, Queen of Wands. And the Four of Wands here is reconciling with the pain from your past. Nine of Voices, Nine of Swords. So, building up your confidence to reconcile with pains from the past. And this is the big picture. This is bold decisions, you know, facing your fears and big picture, and so you can ignite the fire within and find that passionate um, you know, encounter or connection that you so want. That's your challenge here, is finding those things within yourself. Okay, your advice is to hone in for materials, for Pentacles, hone in on what you bring to the table, what you are, what your qualities are, and your, you know, you want to hold on to things, that hold on to yourself in relationships instead of latching onto the other person. Okay, the Knight of Swords here is it's like a message coming in, but it's also like when you're very direct, and you know, it can mean opinionated, but I'm getting here, the message I'm getting here is that you talk to yourself a certain way that is in a way opinionated. So like what I'm saying is like you may be critiquing yourself in a certain way, and your advice is to not do that. Don't be so hard on yourself, okay? Typically the the inner critic that is so harsh on us is not even our own thoughts. They didn't come from us. They came from things we felt, and how other people made us feel, and how we felt put down or something, you know, and then we carry that on like this just repeated programming. It's like you need to undo those things and get really find those messages that you tell yourself, and be like, where did this come from? Why do I feel this way? Tackle those things, follow the trail back to see where they stem from, and understand that those were put into your head, and you do not need to tell yourself that story anymore. So your advice here is to really just hone in on yourself, really, and kind of gather yourself, group yourself. The person on your mind, what they're thinking, Three of Swords. Um, like I said earlier, so if you're in a connection, um, there's a need to kind of talk about some things, that some dynamics here that make sure both people are getting their needs met, okay, and that both people are happy. Do a relationship check-in. But what I'm really getting here is the people of your past, Cancer. So this is more for those of you who are not in a connection, and maybe have had multiple failed connections. So the person on your mind, or people on your mind, what they're thinking is they're hurt as well. It also hurt them. They just have a different way of displaying those things. They're dismissive. So people like that, like I was saying earlier, dismissive and avoidant, they typically pull away. They may come back later and try and like say, hey, how are you? It's like these people are really bad at facing their emotions and being vulnerable. And that's the reason they're drawn to you. Like I was saying earlier, we are drawn to people who exhibit the disempowered parts of ourselves. So people who are really bad at communicating, people who are really bad at giving, and who are not so good with intimacy, they're really drawn to very nurturing, caring, giving, loving people who will just go the extra mile. And the Three of Voices here is heartbreak. And what I'm getting here, what just how you have been hurt in these situations, these people also hurt, just in a little different way, if that makes sense. And this is clarified by the Hermit. Yeah, they have an inner journey to do as well. The people on your mind, or person on your mind, Cancer, what are they feeling? The Moon, they're just as insecure, clarified by Six of Swords, which is transitions and lessons. And what's their next move? Ten of Inspiration. It's again, stress and burnout. Stress and burnout. They are self-fulfilling their own prophecies, clarified by the Sun. Yeah, so you see, people who are dismissive, they also hurt in breakups, but they keep to the self. They go inward, and they don't go inward in a way that allows them to see how they're stopping themselves, though. They are critical of typically you or the other person, you know, that they are dealing with, and they kind of just retreat, okay? And they have insecurities. They feel these insecurities, and that's typically why they're pulling away, and they can't really conquer those things, and then they take it as a lesson, but again, in the wrong way. They take it as some dismissive avoidant people do realize that this is an internal process, but their very makeup of their internal process actually keeps them from realizing their internal process, because they tend to blame, point the finger, say, you're too needy, you're too much, I can't do this, da, 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 da. They're afraid of commitment. So the lessons they learn typically are the wrong ones, and they apply them incorrectly, but um, they kind of just learn to like be alone, and it's unfortunate. And then what your person's next move is like when they feel burnt out or stressed and they want to walk away, they kind of just distract themselves with something bright, sunny, fun, um, and focus on their happiness when they really are subconsciously very alone and sad and lonely because they do crave intimacy. However, they, like I said, they keep themselves from getting it. So, um, again, those of you who are not in a connection, that's that side. So hopefully that information helps you not take it as personal. Okay. The bias you have is Knight of Emotions. The bias you have is how you show up in romance and giving your cup and courting somebody, being romantic, the way you flirt. Your bias is that you turn the floodlights on, Cancer. So you need to kind of dim those back and go with the flow a bit, Mo. Let's see, clarified by the Ace of Pentacles. And then Two of Materials, clarified by Knight of Cups. And the Devil, clarified by the Nine of Cups. I'm just going to clarify the last. No, it's okay. So your bias here is every time there's a new opportunity, or you want to manifest something. I'm getting two messages here. So when there's new opportunities in love and you court them and you want to be romantic and you kind of come in on this horse, this big horse, and you are very charming and you want to give a lot and give your cup and give your love, and this scares people away. Not that it's a bad thing that you're doing this, but you gotta how do you say, you gotta get to know the person on a different plane first. I mean, and this is not to say that there's a specific way to do relationships, or you gotta kind of read the person better. What you're doing right now is you're projecting your insecurities and then you're compensating for them instead of being yourself, being your true self, and reading the person and kind of vetting them and seeing if they are good for you, if they are going to meet your needs. You're overlooking red flags because you're so eager. So that's what your bias is, okay? You should be caution about again, look, the Knight of Cups was your bias, and caution, Knight of Cups, clarifying the Two of Pentacles. You should be cautious about the balance in your romantic connections and the way you receiving back as much as you're giving. You got to be cautious about this, because again, I don't think you're seeing certain things, and you're quicker to say, what have I done wrong? Why don't they like me? What can I do better? What can I change about myself? Than you are to say, is this person meeting my needs? Is this person right for me? Do I like the way this person's treating me? You're quicker to get on yourself than you are to think about what they may be, maybe they're not the right fit for you. Okay, so that's in your caution section. And your focus should be on codependency issues, addictive behaviors to people or love or other such or connections, um, and toxic behavioral patterns that keep you small, sublimating your own needs, putting people pleasing, being a fixer, trying to fix things. And the Nine of Cups here. This is wish fulfillment. So your focus should be on, if you want your wishes to come true, you need to focus on this toxic behavior of codependency and other things, that what is keeping you stuck in this loop, essentially, is what I'm getting. Two guidance messages. The Queen of Materials, which is the Queen of Pentacles, and Strength, clarified by the Six of Wands, and the Six of Cups. At the bottom of the deck, you got Three of Pentacles. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The Queen of Pentacles is loving, caring. She is able to give her love, and she, you know, she sits in on her throne and receives. She waits for people to come to her. She knows her worth. She receives the offer. She vets the people. She is great and open to receiving the love she deserves. And the Six of Wands here talks about recognition, recognizing your beauty and your abundant heart, and your energy is worthwhile, and you do deserve this love. So giving yourself your flowers and being proud of who you are and how you love and how you hold yourself, and being the Queen of Pentacles, and waiting for the right person to come along. And there's no such thing as the right one. Relationships take work. Okay, you're going to run into a problem with somebody every time. It's about finding the person who checks most of your boxes, and who's willing to work on themselves, look at themselves, who has a good heart and is willing to look at themselves and show up to the relationship with you. That's what you're waiting for. And then strength here, inner courage, bravery, and overcoming self-doubt, and Six of Cups. This is largely in regard to childhood traumas or pains that you have to face and kind of transcend here, and nostalgia of old relationships, what lessons needed to be learned there. And the Six of Cups also talks about soulmate type, soul bond or contract with somebody. So if you really want to find your person who you're really going to like go the distance with, you gotta build up this inner strength and find your power. Okay. So what you don't see coming at the bottom of the deck, if you're able to take these messages and apply them, you will have justice. There will be justice served, and that is a balancing type of act or energy. So finding balance and co-collaborative efforts, Three of Pentacles, effort and teamwork. Co-collaborative effort in a relationship that is completely balanced and, just and fulfilling. So that is yeah, that's the message I'm getting there. Let's pull some energy cards for Cancer. Let's see. Some energy cards for Cancer. Faith. Strength. That was your guidance message too. Surrender. Movement. And growth. At the bottom, you got consciousness. So, having faith. Don't lose faith. Don't let no, don't let the hardships you faced and the ones that didn't work out, don't let them make you lose faith in yourself in finding what the fulfilling relationship you're looking for. Okay, don't lose faith. Strength, that's a given. You got to build up your strength, your inner courage, overcoming self-doubt. Surrendering. A lot of the times we don't realize that when we're trying to fix a situation or people please, we're not surrendering, we're resisting. You may think, but I'm doing everything to try and make this person happy, but you're not accepting. You're living off the potential of something. You're not accepting it for what it is in the moment. You're projecting your insecurities onto this person. and you are performing under a mindset of lacking something, and you are trying to fix the situation so they will love you more. That's not surrendering. That is resisting. You need to let that person go and find somebody who is willing to show up, who has a good heart, who's willing to look at themselves and work on the relationship with you. Like I was saying, the movement here is about being able to move through these things. As you know, I feel like you get stuck. I feel like you get stuck and you hurt yourself. And you need to be able to keep it moving, keep it moving, go with the flow. And then growth. There's a lot of growth you're going through. Like I was just saying, there's a period of growth you're going through. I'm sorry, like I was saying in the beginning of the reading, there's a period of growth you're going through at this time. And this is largely due to your consciousness expanding. So your light is expanding, your consciousness is expanding, more things are coming up from the surface, or from the deep well of your subconscious. You're being more aware of these things. You're having an awakening, and I see a lot of good coming for you, Cancer, if you're able to really do that deep dive. Okay, so this is all I have for you today. I really hope it helped, and thank you.
We belong together.